In an apparently very painful moment on Tuesday evening, an elderly woman who appears suffering from age-related bending and muscle weakness known medically as kyphosis could be seen struggling and battling helplessly for the safety of her own life as a group of terrorists invaded and took over a church in Nigeria. The worshippers of Christ Apostolic Church, CAC, were attacked during their church service that was live-streamed on social media platforms, and the video live coverage captured the moment the elderly woman was moving from one hideout to another, hiding under table, trying to move fast and run for safety alongside others before the terrorists, who also parked the worshippers' belongings, intercepted the camera device that was live streaming the church service and probably destroyed the device. The attack, according to Evangelical Church Winning All, ECWA News Media, known as ECWA Nationwide Gist. The attackers were Islamic terrorists and they invaded the church located at Eruku community, a border town with Kogi State in the Ekiti local government area of Kwara State around 5 p.m. on Tuesday evening, killing 3 worshippers at the spot and kidnapped several Christian worshippers in the church including the presiding pastor. The ECWA News Media has reported in recent days that the attacks on Christian communities in Nigeria is growing almost higher on daily basis, specifically stating that Reverend Father Bobby Pascal, parish priest of St. Stephen Parish in Kush Gaju, Kagako local government area, Kaduna State, was kidnapped by Islamic terrorists in the early hours on Monday, November 17, 2025. In addition, the ECWA News Media also published image of 12 residents including an ECWA pastor that were kidnapped by Islamic terrorists last week at the Gidanwaya community in Lere local government area of Kaduna State. The safety of the elderly woman is yet to be ascertained as at press time, as the Kwara State Police Command of the Nigeria Police Force described the successful terrorist act as an attempted bandits attack, according to Sahara Reporters News Media. Eyewitnesses reported that the attackers came in suddenly, shooting sporadically, and gathered some worshippers, including the pastor, and marched them into the bush. The exact number of abducted victims remains unknown, but residents say the attackers fled through bush paths linking neighboring communities. The incident has left the community in panic and chaos, with residents and travelers fleeing into surrounding bushes for safety. At midnight on Tuesday, some stranded travelers in a viral video called for help as they could not continue their journey due to the terrorists who were on Armed Forces of Nigeria, AFN, under the command and control of the President and Commander-in-Chief, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has kept mum since early morning night on Monday when Amag news agency, the international media outlet of the Islamic State West Africa province, ISWAP, started sending and disseminating a photograph of Brigadier General Musa Uba in ISWAP captivity, indicating untrue. The Brigadier General the Nigerian Army Authority had earlier claimed on Saturday to be safe and led his troops back to base, a statement the Army issued to challenge media reports that the Brigadier General was captured and held captive by the ISWAP terrorists after the terrorists ambushed the 25 Task Force Brigade of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, killing several soldiers and civilian JTF members in Wajiroko village near Sambisa Forest in Borno State on Friday around 5 p.m. This Humangle News Media that was among the earliest news providers that reported the ISWAP deadly attacks on Nigeria soldiers on Saturday, after being challenged with a denial press release issued by the Nigerian Army Authority that the Brigadier General was not kidnapped, claiming the Brigadier General led his men to fort through the ambush of the terrorists, forcing the terrorists to flee in disarray. Humangle on Monday early morning published a news report and insisted that the Brigadier General was in ISWAP captivity. According to Humangle, it was already in possession of a photograph showing the Brigadier General in ISWAP captivity, but, due to its editorial policy, it would not publish the image. Soon, the image of the kidnapped Brigadier General became available to some media through a Mag news agency publication that claimed that the Brigadier General was executed shortly after being interrogated by the ISWAP terrorists. The AMAG only presented a photo evidence of the Brigadier General being captured, but any material evidence, if the Brigadier General has been killed, was not provided. following the apparent unfortunate development in the Nigerian Army community. Former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, on Monday in a statement personally signed called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to admit incompetence, and the president should either ask for help or tendered a letter of resignation immediately. According to the former Nigeria Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, I am deeply saddened and extremely shocked and disturbed by news making the rounds of the killing of Brigadier General Musa Uba by terrorists and the failure of the military hierarchy to clearly explain how it happened or what went wrong, as initial official denials indicated that this was not the case. United Nigeria Airlines confirmed in a statement issued a few minutes ago that two popular Nigeria social media influencers, Martins Vincent Otts aka Veridagman and Freedom Okpitritz Atsboy aka Mr. Jollof, were deplaned and handed over to Asaba International Airport Police Authority for investigation after the two celebrities goes physical with each other inside the United Nigeria Airlines aircraft as the plane was about to depart from Asaba to Lagos early morning on Monday. In a press release issued and made available by the airline's public relations officer, Chibuike Uloka, the United Nigeria Airlines confirms that an altercation occurred between two passengers, identified as Martins Vincent Otts, Veridagman, and Freedom Okpitritz Atsboy, Mr. Jollof, during the boarding of Flight UNO 523 at Asaba International Airport on the morning of the 17th of November 2025. In full compliance with global aviation safety protocols, our crew responded immediately and professionally to de-escalate the situation. Both passengers were deboarded without delay to ensure the safety, comfort, and security of all other passengers and crew members. They were subsequently handed over to airport security for further investigation. United Nigeria Airlines places the highest priority on safety and maintains a zero-tolerance policy for any conduct that threatens the security or well-being of passengers or crew. After all standard procedures were completed, the flight departed safely while the passengers involved in the altercation were still with the authorities. We remain firmly committed to providing a safe, respectful, and secure travel experience across our network. Videos made online by co-passengers on the plane showed Veridagman threatening to slap Mr. Jollof, and Mr. Jollof advanced towards him in a manner that was initially and apparently perceived by others inside the plane as a joke, until the situation escalated into a mild brawl as crew members and passengers tried to intervene. It is gathered that the fight occurred as a result of misunderstanding both had since 2024, wherein Veridagman had reportedly vowed to attack Mr. Jollof anytime anywhere. Shortly after the fight, Veridagman in a video statement said that, I don't chop Jollof father for inside plane. Man way day bite, I beat am. Politics of obvious and apparent personal vendetta among some youths in Edo State, which has been ongoing for years, most especially since the immediate former governor of the state, Godwin Obaseki, left office on November 12, 2024, took a new twist on Sunday night in the city of Manchester in the United Kingdom, as a yet-to-be properly identified man walked into an event hall where the former governor, Godwin Obaseki, and his wife, Betty, were scheduled to meet Edo people, and attacked one of their main political and media supporters, Albert Obaze, who probably had been in the bad books of some Edo youth's sequel to his ways of always defending the ex-governor Obaseki and exchanging words with those against the ex-governor. Videos made available online indicated that Albert Obaze was attacked while he was live streaming the event on Facebook and other social media platforms as guests were coming in and waiting for the arrival of the former Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, and his wife, Betty. Initially, the suspected attacker walked up to the victim and asked to have a conversation with him, saying, I am the double chief you are looking for, come let's talk, but Albert Obaze refused and replied to the attacker that, you are the one looking for me. What happened, as Albert Obaze continued to demand to know why the attacker had decided to see him, immediately, the attacker hit the victim on the face. Manchester City Police were seen alongside their vehicles shortly after the attack, but the City Police Department is yet to issue a statement as at the time of filing in this report. Albert Obaze, in a Facebook live streaming on Monday early morning night at a hospital in Manchester, said that he's currently having difficulty with hearing in one of his ears hit by the attacker. On November 5, 2025, while on live Facebook video streaming, Albert Obaze had raised alarms of act of possible threat to his life by a man simply identified as Double Chief of Manchester, who he said had threatened to beat him repeatedly if he visited Manchester to attend and organize the Obaseki thank you visit to his supporters. Also during the live video, Albert Obaze narrated how he was almost attacked by some Edo youths in Italy, thus described some Edo youths abroad as people who always act like animals. Before now, Albert Obaze may have faced a lot of threats of possible attacks issued by some Edo youths who also see him as an enemy of the Benin monarch following the controversies surrounding the establishment of Museum of the West African Art, MOWA in Edo State, which some youths protested and prevented the commissioning of the multi-billion naira cultural hub last Sunday, an act which led to foreign guests being escorted to safety. Nigerian Army Authority has confirmed the killing of 4 persons with the inclusion of 2 soldiers and 2 civilian JTF when members of the Islamic State West Africa Province, ISWAP terrorists on Friday evening ambushed a brigade of Nigerian Army, personally led by the brigade commander, Brigadier General M. Uber, around Wajiroko community in Azir Multe area of Damboa local government area of Borno State, which, according to Humangle News Media, the ISWAP terrorists opened fire on a convoy of several military and civilian joint task force vehicles, causing the brigade of the armed forces of Nigeria an apparent full destabilization, leading to the Brigadier General missing in action for several hours but started responding to WhatsApp messages few moments later, but the Nigerian Army Authority insisted that the Brigadier General and the commander of the 25 Task Force Brigade personally led the Nigerian Army troops back to base, after an apparent failed attempt to rescue communities that are probably still under terrorists' control in the areas close to Sambisa Forest. According to Lieutenant Colonel Apollonia Anil, the acting director of the Nigerian Army Public Relations, in a statement issued on Saturday, troops of 25 Task Force Brigade, on routine patrol to secure communities around Wajiroko in Azir Multe, Damboa local government area of Borno State, came under a sudden and heavy insurgents' fire while returning from a successful patrol within the fringes of Sambisa Forest. The patrol team, which was led by the Commander 25 Brigade Brigadier General M. Uber and comprised troops of 25 Task Force Brigade and members of Civilian Joint Task Force, CJTF, courageously fought through the insurgents' ambush with superior firepower, forcing them to withdraw in disarray and to abandon their mission. During the encounter, 2 brave soldiers and 2 heroic CJTF members paid the supreme price while on active service to the nation. While commending the troops for the gallantry, the Army High Command commiserates with families and associates of the deceased gallants for their heroic sacrifice to the nation. The Army headquarters also wishes to debunk the fake narrative going round some media platforms online alleging the abduction of the brigade commander. The general public is hereby advised to disregard the fake news regarding the incident while praying for the continuous success of our gallant servicemen and women. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wide Shebu, Nigerian Army Medal, salutes the uncommon bravery, resilience and sacrifice of the gallant troops who have continued to operate in one of the most dangerous theaters of conflict. President Volodymyr Zelensky has ordered the new Prime Minister of Ukraine, Yulia Sviridenko, to involve law enforcement agencies including the anti-corruption police in the mass audits of Ukraine's state-owned companies. Zelensky, who gave the order this week while in one-on-one meeting with the female Prime Minister, said, "The law enforcement agencies of Ukraine must take immediate action based on the outcome or results of the audits being initiated by Yulia Sviridenko, the current Prime Minister of Ukraine, who assumed office on July 17, 2025, after being confirmed by the Verkhovna Rada, meaning Ukraine's parliament, following President Volodymyr Zelensky's nomination of Sviridenko as part of a major government reshuffle, replacing the previous Prime Minister, Denis Shmyhal, who became the new Minister of Defense, and Sviridenko previously served as the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Economic Development and Trade. The new position made her the second woman in Ukraine's history to hold the position of Prime Minister. Meanwhile, during the week, Zelensky also announced that the Nordic countries, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, along with other Baltic-friendly countries of Ukraine, have decided to commit an additional $500 million to the prioritized Ukraine requirements list, Pearl Initiative, a NATO-led initiative to expedite the supply of critically needed US-manufactured weapons to the country, which, Zelensky said, will be of a substantial help. In a number of statements during the week, Zelensky said, "I had a meeting with the Prime Minister of Ukraine. First and foremost, we focused on the situation with recovery efforts in the regions after the Russian strikes. Repair crews are working almost around the clock wherever needed, and the necessary resources have been deployed. We are increasing our reserve of equipment, and work with partners on this issue is constantly ongoing." Yulia Sviridenko also reported on the implementation of support programs for frontline and border communities. "We are ensuring the necessary funding. Starting tomorrow, a new winter support program for our people will be launched. Government officials will present all the details publicly." Last year, more than 14 million Ukrainians benefited from winter support, and we expect no smaller scale this winter. The Prime Minister reported on the launch of audit processes in state-owned companies. "We agreed that the audits must be conducted promptly, and all results must be forwarded to law enforcement and anti-corruption agencies for appropriate action. Personnel decisions will follow based on the findings. There may be good reasons at this level for the Nigeria police force under the leadership of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetoken, to immediately invite Nigeria serving lawmaker, Senator Prince Chinedu Nwoko aka Ned Nwoko, for questioning, over apparent reasonable and evidence-based allegations of raping a minor, child marriage, child molestation, underage voters registration, and child abuse against the person of superstar Nigerian Nollywood actress, Regina Daniels, following the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC voters card, Senator Ned Nwoko presented this morning through his verified social media profile to challenge the allegation earlier made by Regina Daniels that she was still a minor at age 17 when the serving Nigeria senator forced her into early child marriage and started having sexual activities with her. A careful study of the INEC voters card, Regina Daniels' real name or full name was not stated in the election voters registration card that looked very questionable and manipulative. The voter's card was issued on July 23, 2018 without the bearer's real father's name. The voter's card simply identified the actress as Daniels Regina Nimaka, with date of birth as October 10, 1998. This, Chius Nwoko, a family member of Senator Ned Nwoko, in recent days issued a video statement wherein he accused and described the senator as a man of too many bad characters, saying that Senator Ned Nwoko and the actress' father once stayed together in one apartment, and the statement of Chius Nwoko indicated that Senator Ned Nwoko knows the real name of the biological father of the star actress. Hence, as a learned and well-educated person, Senator Ned Nwoko was probably in a good position to know that the voter's card was questionable, and it appears to be very fraudulent, because, a year before the questionable and apparent fraudulent INEC voter's card was issued, the actress had sworn an affidavit and declared her real names as Ajegwu Regina Nimaka Favor, born on the 10th of October, 2001, as stated in her 5 years international passport issued on May 9, 2017 and renewed on January 11, 2022 with same names and date of birth for 10 years international passport. According to the founder of Sahara Reporters News Media, Omoyele Sowore, it was Senator Ned Nwoko who probably and allegedly may have obtained the fake INEC voter's card to conceal the real age of the star actress, saying, Senator Prince Ned Nwoko has traveled with Regina Daniels to Jordan, UAE, Egypt. Former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai has described the conduct and behavior of a Nigeria serving minister and former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, before a serving Nigeria soldier in the naval force as reckless, and thus insulted and disrespected the person and the office of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, after the minister had a confrontation with the naval officer with the service name, A.M. Yerima, at Plot 1946, Gudua District, Abuja, over ownership and development rights to a parcel of land allegedly linked to a former Chief of Naval Staff. This, a careful study of some video footage made available online, especially the video captured and published by Channels Television, apparently indicated that the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, physically assaulted one of the operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, that was seen protecting the minister against a potential threat of armed soldier who was on a direct viewpoint with the minister. The DSS officer proactively moved to give the armed soldier a close marking and chest up to the defense line, with the armed soldier who was moving steps on a close range and direct viewpoint to the minister. But, surprisingly, the minister, in a manner that looks very disrespectful and belittling, walked up to the DSS officer and dragged him to leave the way. Professionally, the DSS operative angrily resisted Wike and said with a loud voice that he can't leave the defense line, that the armed soldier is being unprofessional with the way the armed soldier was standing on a direct viewpoint to the minister. Quickly, one of the combatant DSS officers from behind moved towards the armed soldier and pushed him off the defense line. Thereafter, the situation became violently rowdy and was almost leading to a complete fight, even when the DSS operatives formed a circle around the minister to protect him. Nyesom Wike was seen trying to violate the DSS human shield in a manner as if he was going personally to confront one of the armed soldiers, but the DSS officers ensured the minister was denied the opportunity to endanger his own life, and after the violent situation, all the armed soldiers moved backward while the DSS officers built a human defense wall against the armed soldiers completely. Only the senior army officer, who appeared not armed, was now in close contact with the minister, and according to the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, Nyesom Wike's action is a clear act that presents danger to national security, and undermines the authority of the Commander-in-Chief and the integrity of the armed forces. The FCT minister, accompanied by senior officials of the federal well-known human rights activist and founder of the Sahara Reporters news media, Omoyele Sowore, has called on the British government that the United Kingdom, UK, should immediately place a ban on Nigeria serving Senator representing Delta North Senatorial District in the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Prince Chinedu Nwoko aka Ned Nwoko, as a registered lawyer in the United Kingdom over allegations of child abuse, raping of minor and molestation allegedly committed against the person of Nigeria popular Nollywood actress Regina Daniels, after the superstar actress revealed on Sunday that she was forced into early marriage at the age of 17 by the serving Nigeria senator, which, according to Sowore, Regina Daniels at 17 was still a minor under the UK law, and therefore called on the Law Society of England and Wales to be alerted, and the Solicitors Regulation Authority, SRA, must begin disciplinary proceedings before the Independent Solicitors Disciplinary Tribunal, SDT, determined Senator Ned Nwoko fitness to still practice law in the UK. While Sowore stated this earlier on Sunday, on Monday evening, Sowore raised alarm of fresh plans by the serving Nigeria Senator, Ned Nwoko, to allegedly block the release of the detained Regina Daniels' brother, Samuel Ejegwu aka Sammy West, and arrest his mother-in-law, Regina Daniels' mother, Rita, and Regina Daniels' friends. But Sammy West was later seen in a video on Monday night being released from prison. According to Omoyele Sowore, APC Senator Prince Ned Nwoko must be held accountable for crimes against a minor and abuse of power. The case of APC Senator Prince Ned Nwoko has gone far beyond politics. It now points to serious criminal conduct and gross abuse of power, as revealed by his now estranged wife, Regina Daniels. According to Regina Daniels, Senator Prince Ned Nwoko married her when she was only 17 years old at a time when she was legally a minor under UK law, where Nwoko remains a registered legal practitioner. Any sexual activity following that marriage would, under British law, amount to statutory rape. More disturbing are Regina Daniels' allegations that Senator Nwoko introduced her to hard drugs while she was still underage and repeatedly forced himself upon her. These are not mere moral failings. They're serious criminal offenses that demand investigation and prosecution. It is unacceptable for Ned Nwoko to continue parading himself as a lawyer in the United Kingdom while facing these damning allegations. Nigeria's superstar actress, who has been in the news since she got married to a man many said was old enough to be her grandfather, Regina Daniels, on Sunday early morning night revealed that she was married to the Nigeria senator representing Delta North, Prince Chinedu Nwoko aka Ned Nwoko, as a minor at the age of 17, a statement that allegedly accused the serving senator, Ned Nwoko, of apparent serious crime of child abuse, raping of minor, child molestation and forced child marriage because Nigeria constitution stipulates 18 years of age for someone to be considered old enough to be able to consent to marriage or sexual activities, and any sexual activity with a minor, the older person is presumed according to the Nigeria constitution as a criminal suspect who took advantage of the minor and liable for child abuse and other related crimes. Although Senator Ned Nwoko is a Muslim by religion, a careful study of the Nigerian laws indicated that Islamic law is only binding on Muslim and not Muslim and Christian or people from other religions. We are also aware that both of them are from Delta State in the south-south geopolitical zone of Nigeria that is predominantly Christians, that practices 18 years as a statutory and customary age requirement for someone to be considered old enough to give his or her voluntary consent for marriage and other forms of sexual activities. Last month October, there was a heated debate at the Nigeria Red Chamber of the National Assembly where the senators bemoaned the high rates of child abuse and defilement of minors in Nigeria and recommended a stiffer punishment of life imprisonment for offenders. Specifically, according to the Daily Post newspaper publication on October 21, 2025, the senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, Adams Oshiomhole, said defilement of a minor should be different from that of rape. For a minor, this is a kid that is not capable of consenting or otherwise and whose life can be destroyed almost permanently. Those involved in defilement should suffer great punishment. I propose 20 years imprisonment for whoever is found culpable for this crime without any option of fine, because I have seen cases of boys and girls under 5 and 10 years old being defiled by adults, he said. The proposal was, however, defeated by the majority in the Red Chamber of the National Assembly. Following the defeat of the bill, Senator Mohammed Adamu Aliero, Kebbi Central, proposed stiffer punishment of life imprisonment for any man or woman found wanting in the act. I want to propose that the punishment for defilement for minors be life imprisonment, whether it's a man or woman. Serving Nigeria Senator Prince Chinedu Nwoko, well known as Nedo Nwoko, has listed and narrated some of the things he has done for the family of his absconded fourth wife, Regina Daniels, particularly stating that his mother-in-law, Regina Daniels' mother, Rita, received 125 million nairas from him in the past 2 years alone, apparently challenging the mother-in-law earlier media statement that none of the senator's children looked like a child of a billionaire, and that she on her own spent her hard-earned money to support the senator's election, in addition to the $50,000 Regina Daniels gave to the 65-year-old Muslim husband from the southern part of Nigeria. Outside that, Senator Ned Nwoko apparently tried to explain why his brother-in-law, Sammy, was arrested and detained after his wife, Regina Daniels, ran away from her matrimonial home and decided to end the marriage with the serving Nigeria senator on the ground of domestic violence, intimidation and oppression that made her look like nothing in the house of the senator, who she swiftly replied yesterday that Ned Nwoko never married her legally, and she was apparently still a minor at age 17 when the Nigeria serving senator allegedly forced her into early marriage. Details of Regina Daniels' statements and the legal implications will be reported and published in our next news report for proper clarification and understanding, so that appropriate government bodies like the Nigeria Police Force will be held accountable to take decisive action for the protection of girl-child against sexual abuse, molestation, raping of minor and child marriage. According to the serving senator, Ned Nwoko, who attached 2 videos to his statements of Sammy, Regina Daniels' brother having misunderstanding with some of his domestic staff and the policeman at his house, these videos show Sammy, Regina's brother, repeatedly coming to my home and harassing my children and domestic staff, especially whenever I was not around. His visits were often aggressive and disruptive. This is someone I sponsored through his last 2 years at the University of Ikpoma. I bought his musical instruments, rented and furnished a flat for him in Abuja, in addition to the house I bought for Regina in Asaba before our marriage for the use of all of them. I also routinely provided allowances to all members of the family, including her mother, Rita Daniel. Indeed, in the last 2 years, I have a record of transferring 125 million nairas to her alone. When Regina started her rehabilitation, there was a clear instruction by the doctors to strictly restrict people, especially her enablers, from having access to her. Indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has said that the detained Biafra Republic agitation leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has not forfeited his rights to defend himself before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja, after the judge, Justice James Omotosho, ruled on Friday and stated that Nnamdi Kanu's rights to enter defense has been forfeited and thereafter fixed November 20, 2025 for judgment, as Nnamdi Kanu was seen to have staged a defensive confrontation with aggressive loud voice, challenging the court that the federal government allegations against him has no legal basis or any aspect of the Nigeria law that backs such allegations. This, Barrister Oloyejimako, the organizing lawyer for the detained Biafra Republic agitation leader, had on Wednesday said in a written and video statement posted on his X social media account that Nnamdi Kanu is competent enough to defend himself, especially given the political elements in the case which he understands better than any lawyer. In a press release issued and made available on Friday, IPOB, in the statement signed by Emma Powerful, said it strongly condemns the new round of fake news being pushed by certain Nigerian media outlets. The false claim that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has forfeited his right to defense in the ongoing trial before Justice James Kolawole Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, is a desperate lie meant to mislead the public and cover up an illegal process. Let the truth be clear, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not forfeited anything. What is happening in court is not a fair trial but a political show. Up till today, neither Justice Omotosho nor Chief Adigboyegba Awomolo, SAN, the government's lead prosecutor, has been able to point to any valid, existing law that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu supposedly broke. Their silence speaks volumes. It is a quiet confession that this entire case has no legal foundation. The core question remains simple. Can anyone be prosecuted or convicted without a living law that clearly defines the offense and prescribes a punishment? The answer is written in Section 36(12) of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution. A person shall not be convicted of a criminal offense unless that offense is defined and the penalty therefore is prescribed in a written law. This means you cannot charge or convict anyone unless the law exists in black and white. No judge or lawyer can twist that. The Supreme Court has said the same thing many times. In Auko vs. Fagbemi, 1961, AG Federation vs. Abubakar, 2007, and NNPC.
Brigade, bringing you the news in a more digital way.